Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday show. I'm your host, Wonton Hammer. I have with me my co-host, Jen T. Maxey.
Hello.
And Terry Diamantis.
Hey, everyone.
Got a humongous show tonight. I got so many categories, I don't think we're going to get through half of them, but I'll go through them real quickly.
Humongous what? Humongous what?
Humongous what?
Well, there's just so much happening today that's just been fantastic. Like, I go on to Twitter for 2 seconds just to share our stream, and within 2 seconds, I just realized that Kristen Alley has discovered Candace Owens, and that's not a good thing because both of them are nice, but both of them are very fluffy. And I'm just preparing for popcorn because that's going to be.
Well, I'm going to go over the news stories for the night.
Our topics.
See if we can come up with some. Yeah, see if we can come up with something to talk about out of all of this. First story on the list: Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. This is all about Libs of TikTok and Taylor Lorenz and the effect that she's having on the discourse, especially on Twitter. Second category is not Jiggy. That's some concerns about Will Smith getting a divorce. Personally, I think he should have a long time ago. Third option is Free Australia. Travel limits from Australia to other parts of the planet have been lifted, especially in Victoria. Pound sign me poo. This is Amber Turd having a crap on Johnny Depp's bed. That was brilliant. I was going to close with this, but we had some extra stuff. New Chen, in case you haven't heard, one of our favorites, Lauren Chen, has had a cute little baby boy, which is so adorable. Next is Judgy, and that's about the Florida judge ruling that mask mandates are unconstitutional. How do you think about that? And finally, Coach Deadpill, Gonzalo Lira has too many murdered by Ukrainian soldiers. And I was talking to Trey before the show. I wonder how many people are going to take their Ukrainian flag out of their bios now when they learn that an American was killed by Ukrainians. Not as great moves. So a lot of things to talk about. We'll see what we get to. Also wanted to say hello to everybody in chat. Keeverdam, Hate Camel, Assassin of the Gray, OG Costin's out there.
He was like second in chat.
Yeah. So I just want to say hi to everybody in chat. Do you guys have something you want to talk about off the top of your heads from the list?
I've pretty much followed a little bit of everything except for the Free Aussie. I'm a little bit jealous right now because our guy is still like in competition with China at this point. Like if he starts sending our kids to schools looking like they're marshmallow puffs, I am going to march my ass down to Ottawa myself and then bring a bike horn because I can't afford a real horn, and I'm just going to sit there and honk that damn thing
and promptly get run over by horses.
Probably.
I think the biggest story is the Libs of TikTok one. I think that's like the story.
Yeah. I mean, my Twitter feed is just fucking lit up. It's been 30 seconds.
Yeah,
right? Yeah, it's been 30 seconds.
Here. Nothing but that.
Yeah, it's just everybody has jumped on this. Tucker Carlson is on it. Steven Crowder is on it. There's a lot of what's Ben Shapiro's Daily Wire? They're on top of it.
Yeah.
It's just like
the Babylon Bee hired her. As a result of all this.
Yeah. So
I'm just I'm glad that everyone's going after her because she's absolutely a bully. I want to shame the people who are propping her up too. Like, you know, you guys kind of deserve each other. Like you guys were like, boop, 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 boop. But she sounded like Sharon from South Park. You know, like the episodes where whatever she's like, think of the children, but she's mocking like the Simpsons version. You know,
some snobbery
but it's Sharon from South Park. I'm like the fakest tears I've ever seen.
Yeah, a woman can tell.
Yes.
Well, I could tell, and I'm not even a woman. It's like there's a reason she's a writer, not an actress. Let's say that.
So
I
yeah, I saw that video and I was like, she's not really crying. That was, and she was just playing double down with the host because the host says, "Oh, it must have been terrible." It wasn't just terrible; it was horrible. I have to add more to it to make it even more dramatic. I'm going to get this part. I'm going to act my heart out. I'm going to get this part. So yeah, I mean, you know, everybody, you know, the whole thing about this being what she did was bad. I think that's a good part of it. But what really gets me about it is the amazing level of hypocrisy. That's what really got me. It's not that she just did something bad, because reporters always do something bad. But she was, oh, being doxxed is awful. Let me go right ahead and dox someone. It's that hypocrisy that.
I think that's everyone's issue with it. If she hadn't been on TV like 2 weeks ago going, I was doxxed and it was just so bad and no one should ever do this to anyone, unless I disagree with them, in which case your address is going to be put out there. It's like, that's the problem.
And then the post said, well, we're not going to, you know, da-da-da-da. And they put the link to her job or something like that, or her address or something like that. And then they removed it and said, we didn't do anything wrong. Yes, you did. You just took it back. It's out there now.
I'm sorry, I gotta just check something. I'm not necessarily gonna sing or anything, but side note, what was it your birthday the other day, Gaver Dem? Because like, you know, even if it's short, like, you know, late and stuff, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
I'm not gonna sing. You don't want to hear that.
No. I can. I've been talking a lot for the last hour.
It was Star's birthday too.
You know, was it
Stargazer Nights? Yeah. It was her birthday too. And from what I understand, there's a couple of ones that just came up. Wasn't Satsu and somebody else?
Yeah, it's his birthday today. Yeah, it was his birthday today. His wife made him a cake. He was a little bit terrified and he ate it. He was like, it wasn't too bad.
Snobby chefs. Satsu, if you're listening, buddy, happy birthday. There was a couple other people too.
Hitler's birthday on the 20th.
You have to understand, Hammer, that Satsu's wife is a hit and miss when it comes to cooking. It's when he tells you things like she thinks that all pasta is called spaghetti. She literally thinks that all pasta is called spaghetti. You're like, okay.
Yeah. That's okay. What's her name?
She's
again?
super nice and she's cute. You know what? She knows how to make a hamburger. You know, that's what matters.
That's all you need from me. I'm happy with that. What's her name again?
I don't know her real name. I don't know her real name, but I know her nickname is Squishy.
Squishy.
And that's her nickname.
Squishy and Squeetus.
I mean, I do know her real name. I don't know if
she's published it.
Just putting it out there.
Yeah, I don't know if she's published
it.
I mean,
when she's in chat, her account is under her real name. So I guess it's not like a secret or anything, but I don't know her well enough to just go around saying her real
we all
name.
know her as Squishy anyway. We all love her as Squishy. That's fine. So yeah, I think that's the big deal is really the level of hypocrisy. You've seen a certain level of hypocrisy from the left for the last 5 years, but this one is just on a totally new level. I mean, not even close.
Well, I think it's also the proximity. Like if it was like 5 years ago that she did this crying performance, and then today she doxed libs of TikTok, it would be a lot different. The fact that it was like 2 weeks ago that she was, you know, saying you should never dox anyone under any circumstances, and then she goes and does it because she disagrees with some woman's politics.
That's the irony of it. She didn't just dox one woman. She technically doxed two.
Yeah, one of them was actually completely innocent.
Yep.
I mean, they're both innocent, but like unrelated, I should say.
Entirely. And completely unapologetic about the second one too. And now she's a bully. She's a cry bully. But also she's literally going up to people's homes and being like, that's what reporters do. I'm like, no, actually you call people.
Yeah.
Like you call people, you make arrangements that you have permission. Otherwise you're in violations of being on their property.
Well, did you not legally in the States. That might be different in Canada, but in the States.
Well, it's not so much that, but like it's, you know, like there's a certain level where they're going to trespass, aren't they?
You're allowed to walk up and bang on someone's door. The area that you're allowed to do that is called the curtilage, and there's laws
Yeah.
specifically around that says if you have a door with a knocker on it, someone knocks on it, by putting a knocker on the door or making the door different color, there's a whole set of rules. You're giving them express invitation to knock on your door. That you can't be, you're allowed to walk up the driveway, you're allowed to knock on the door. You can't walk around the side of the house or start looking in windows. Then you get into peeping Tom kind of stuff, violation of privacy, but that area where any reasonable person could approach, like a post office, postman or something like that, to get you to sign a paper, or FedEx or anything. That's called a curtilage in the United States, and you're allowed to be there. You're not allowed to stay there.
No, but did you see the email that Taylor sent to the wrong Libs of TikTok thing? Like, this woman who happened to have the same name as the woman who runs Libs of TikTok, Taylor sent this like, is this your account? Because if it's not, you're going to be implicated as the leader of an anti-LGBT movement. And it's like, quite blatantly threatening.
Well, could you imagine if the lady that she unintentionally went after, what if she is fairly liberal? After that experience, I'd be really looking at my side and going, you know what? Maybe not. And they wonder why they're losing more people. Like, people are jumping ship. Because you encounter stuff like that and you're like, I don't know that I want to associate with that, because that's sociopathic, narcissistic, psycho. I don't know what that is, but there's so much of it.
All of it. It's all the things.
Like, they have their list. Well, I have mine now.
And the thing that stands out to me is Libs of TikTok is just posting their own videos. Like, she's offering like some light commentary, but like, she's not taking them out of context. She is saying, this is a video that was uploaded to TikTok. I would like you to see what is being uploaded to TikTok.
Yeah.
If she was manipulating the videos, then okay, that's kind of a shitty thing to do. But she's not. She's just saying, this is the video that they put out themselves. I think people need to see this. I think it's alarming. And I can't fault her. She's not doing anything wrong.
She does what KB Lane does. You know who KB Lane is?
I don't know that name.
He's the guy who sees someone do a TikTok showing you how to do something handy around the house, where they take 35 steps to do something simple, and he just opens the top and pours the water, and he points to it like, it was that easy. Why do we need to go through all of this shit? He's a black guy. But he takes all of these complicated, like, oh, you want to be able to pick up milk with a handle? You can just buy milk with a handle, and all he does is he looks at it, he puts his hands out pointing at what he's looking, and then looks at the screen like, this is so simple, why would you need to do anything special for this? Well, that's kind of what she's doing. She's just pointing and saying, can you believe these people? And she's not even saying that so much. She's just saying, look at this. That's all she's saying, and that's too much.
Well, I will say there is occasional things like, this teacher is a groomer, which I'm not disagreeing, but she is adding commentary to some of the videos.
Some of them,
not just, hey, look at this. This is my opinion on this. But even so, she's not. If she was taking them out of context, I'd have an issue with it. But she's not. She's
just pointing out what they're saying. What was the? Oh shit! I just had it on the tip of my tongue and I lost it. There was a. Oh, there was a guy. Oh, I remember. I don't know if it was Defiant L's or if it was Libs of TikTok. They both kind of are very popular right now. But this guy said something, and either it was Libs of TikToks or Defiant L's or Bad Legal Advice. They're all kind of the same kind of accounts. And the Libs of TikTok posted it, and he sent them a message, and they posted that too. The message was, take this down or I'm going to sue you for defamation. It's like, dude, I am posting your tweet. Who am I defaming? You're defaming yourself. What the hell?
That was definitely bad legal takes. I remember it.
Okay. All right. I knew it was one of those accounts.
But the thing is, given the left's opinions on things, they should be celebrating Libs of TikTok, because they're all about platforming. Like, the reason that you don't talk to right-wingers is because you're platforming toxic ideas. Well, by their standards, Libs of TikTok is platforming progressive ideals. Why is that a bad thing?
Because it shows them how crazy they are.
I think that's part of it, but I also think I'm going to come up with my own theory. I'm going to make this up because I'm basing it off of the two things I know about her. She's a feminist and she's from WAPO. And if I think about the libs of TikTok, what they do is an awful lot of the same technique that a lot of people used to do back in the day when they were calling out the feminists for their dumb ideas.
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, a basic video was just playing them talking. And then just being like, wow, let's eat some popcorn as this crazy person talks bullshit online. You know, and I wouldn't doubt that she's probably been in the line of like, I want to support that shit. And then realized how dumb it looks when pointed out like that. So seeing it pointed out on TikToks is giving her flashbacks because we all know that Taylor Lorenz is really old. Like she's totally lied about everything over the last couple of years because she was in the top 40 women's list based off of
like 50 years old, isn't she? She's like 49.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
She doesn't look it.
No, she looks good for her age. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not going to throw shade at her looks. Like, that's shallow shit. But she lies about everything.
She married?
I doubt it.
Be surprised.
I mean, this is how all the skeptics made their mark back in the days of YouTube videos. Monkey included. Bearing, what's the Lotus Eaters guy? Ben, what the hell is his name? Sargon. Yeah, that's all they made. They just showed the video.
Half the people who fled and went to the left used to do it too.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying, they all did.
Sophane and Was Lee, they all did the same thing.
Yeah. What was the
Jeff Holiday?
Riley? What the hell was her name? Riley Dennis?
Riley Dennis was the one that everyone made fun of.
What was his dead name?
Justin
Dennis. Yeah. The whole thing it became almost a meme where he threw his head back and says, "I'm so gay." Yeah, that became a meme. Everybody cut it and put it in their videos at some point. You know, I'm surprised Matt doesn't have it on his intro.
I think Bering was the one who started that.
Was it?
I'm so gay. Yeah.
You know, to be honest with you, man, every video he's been put out since his days when he started, they're every bit as hilarious as they ever were. The last one I just saw was laughing my ass off just like every time he puts a video up. He just has this way of talking. Makes me
I kind of miss when Christy and her friends were like relevant.
I don't.
Feeding him info?
Oh, I love
that.
People rip into Steve Shives and Kevin Logan and
it's not
demotivator opinions.
You don't understand. She used to torment the shit out of me, not because of her talking, but because of the fact that she kept angling her camera at her tits. And I'm like, lady, you're in your 50s. You're making me go more blind.
Nothing personal, but
me go more blind.
I don't mean to hurt anybody's feelings here, but most women do that. Whenever you see a headshot on Twitter, they make sure they get their cleavage in.
Oh, of course.
There's only a few people who don't.
They get like 200% more engagement if there's boobs on display.
Yeah, I know, but I like to think that there's a certain level of like, you know, if you make them imagine shit, that's something too, you know, like that mystery thing.
They're not topless, but they're surely showing cleavage and making sure that the bra that they're wearing is at least one cup size too small, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's the
what
one
you're talking about makes sense if you're trying to get a boyfriend. If you're trying to get views on your videos, then show as much as the platform will let you.
Yeah, but when you're that old and you can see that she's got like old lady veins on her skin and you're like, oh, you're getting to the wrinkle stage, and you're like, oh, you're showing too much, you're showing too much.
I didn't like looking at it any more than you did, but
I'm sure it did give her a percentage more guys, because a lot of guys don't care. You show me cleavage, I'm happy.
I know.
I'm just the opposite. I fucking hate it.
I've had guys tell me that, like, you know, they've been stunned watching the odd old lady pop out of nowhere with the titties, and they're just like, I shouldn't be staring at this. I should be barfing right now.
Assassin says that if they hang down to the knees, it's time to put them away.
True.
But I mean, even for younger people, you know, the 20-year-old TikToker girls are just bouncing in their bras. You know, for as much as I'm a guy just like anybody else, and a nice pair of boobs are wonderful and all that kind of stuff. But when you're doing it on TikTok or YouTube or whatever platform, Twitch, it's just, man, show some self-respect, would you please?
Oh
Well,
God, no! They will never do that.
I don't mean to complain about it that much because I really don't mind women showing a little bit of cleavage. But when it's so much that that's all you're focused on is like, man, I'm seeing way too much. This is actually making me nauseous.
Look,
Jen,
if guys could get away with flashing their dick for like 200% more views, they would all be doing that. But
I don't think I would be. But I was going to say, Jen, maybe it's coming from being female that you have that perspective. But I just,
no, to be honest,
if
if
they're
it
cutting
wasn't against
off
the rules, if it wasn't against the rules, Terry, you know, with the way the tides have changed and the fact that women actually are kind of happy to harass you, not you personally, but like women are absolutely happy to harass men when they think they're attractive. Don't get me wrong. If men were allowed to show not necessarily their full on penis, but just enough to like hint at something, they would absolutely get views for it.
Absolutely, that's my point. If guys could get away with it, they would do it. It's just they can't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it. It just screams just desperation to me. I just
but
I totally get you, Hammer, but
no, but you're also not doing this purely for views. If you were solely focused on views and that was the only thing you cared about, then you'd be stupid not to, because it would magnify your view count by 200%.
I still couldn't do it. I have to look at myself in the mirror, you know?
Yeah, but these people don't care about that. They are solely focused on validation through external means. Seeing that number goes up is more validating than being proud of who they are as a person.
That's a character flaw.
I do too. That's kind of why I was so reluctant to put my face online in the first place. Like, am I as reluctant now? No, I kind of want to show off because I lost 110 pounds. I'm not gonna lie. That part's been bugging me, but yeah, I didn't want to show my face online because I thought, well, if people did think I was attractive, even if I don't think I am, if people did and they followed me just for that, I was like, well, how do I know that they're even interested in what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, the thing to remember is that these people don't care.
And that,
like, a view is a view. Like, Amaranth gives zero shits if you actually like the ASMR.
Yeah.
If you are there to look at her tits, she counts that as a win because it's another viewer.
Yeah. Oh, our Thursday night host, Johnny Hellcat, is in chat. Say hi. Everybody say hi to Johnny.
Hi, Johnny. You're my favorite customer.
Yeah, I mean, there are certainly women out there who don't care about their own self-image or any of that kind of stuff. But when you start cutting off the top of your head just to make sure you get your boobs in the shot, I'm sorry.
The Lacey Green effect.
Yeah, very much the Lacey Green effect. She always cut off the top of her head because I think she has that little Downey syndrome look to her. So cutting off the top of her head was probably a good idea. But the people out there I respect her, like Lauren Chen. What was the last time you saw Lauren Chen with a cleavage shot? Yeah, never.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Right, exactly. There's, I mean, even blonde, she wears some low cut stuff, but never that much that it's just like, look at my breasts, So.
Yeah, but they're also more conservative. They've got concerns other than pure chasing views.
Blonde's more than conservative, man. She's pretty far on the right. Holy moly.
Yeah, but I was like saying conservative to include both Lauren and blonde because
do you ever watch
Lauren is a lot more moderate.
Yeah. Do you ever watch Beauty and the Beta or what's Matt and Blonde show, Jen?
Nope. I know who they are. I just don't.
It's on Sunday night. You should watch at least one show. First of all, it's pretty entertaining. I think Terry will agree with me on that.
I watch Matt's videos. I don't watch his streams.
I don't watch the Wednesday show because we're doing our Wednesday show. I can't possibly watch it, and they don't play it back. Yeah. It's a podcast, so it doesn't stay up on YouTube. It goes to the audio streaming platforms, and the video gets deleted. So I don't watch the Wednesday show, and it's just a call-in show from random people on the world, and I don't give a shit what they think. But the Sunday show is fun because they do kind of what we do, just not as good.
I would. I don't think Blonde still makes videos.
No, she doesn't. But she wants to get back into it. Last Sunday, she mentioned that she's gotten a second win and she wants to get back into doing videos. But the reason I mentioned that I would like Jen to watch an episode and tell me what she thinks of the two personalities, because it's an entertaining show, so you'll probably enjoy it. And you can probably get away with watching one even if you don't like it. But I reference them on a pretty regular basis, so
I can always look into it. I just don't watch everybody. One. That's kind of the thing with the YouTube, and I know you know what I mean when I say there's just so many people on.
Oh my god, yeah.
But like I've been following so many different threads lately that like I just don't know where to go. But to be fair, I had to tease Jeremy a little bit the last couple days because like I don't know, he was joking about how, oh, you know, it's been a little while since I talked about Will Smith, and I joked in my head, oh, you mean like 10 days? And I was like, I'm gonna look into that and see if it has been. You know what? I haven't done that yet. I want to look and see if it has been 10 days because I think it has, because he does cover everything. But
if you do get a Sunday night at 9 p.m. open, just watch the show. You'll see some.
I will. Yeah.
You'll see some similarities. That's for sure.
Well, it'll give me a change of pace from Jeremy, because I do like the guy well enough, because he it's not that I like him like as a YouTuber, he's not necessarily the best at presenting. I like him as a YouTuber and I support him as a YouTuber because he out of most of the big guys, I've seen him put his neck out on the line the most.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it's shit he shouldn't have been involved in, and I get that. Like, he's a little bit of a troublemaker too. He is.
That's okay.
But he does stick his neck out, and that's the thing that I don't see a lot of big YouTubers really do anymore.
Yeah.
And he's still consistent with it. You know,
like Crowder does too.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. That's the thing that will bring me back a little bit. Like, I won't watch everything because I can't. It's just annoying too. But I won't mind. I don't mind watching them once in a while. I think the last time I watched something from them was probably, probably 2017.
I'm sorry, I just caught what Assassin said. Is it Jeremy who?
Jeremy who? From the Quartering.
From the Quartering.
How do you not know? He has like 15 videos a day, and he knows it too.
No. But there's other Jeremys. Is the point? Like,
that is true. That is true. Because you know what?
Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers is another one. So you could have been talking about him.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I watch them sometimes too, but he's a little bit more MGTOW. A little bit more MGTOW.
Those
and
assholes.
Admittedly, he has reasons for that. Like, I think he's had bridges burnt with the ladies sometimes.
There's also Jeremy from CinemaSins.
Yes.
You might have been talking about him.
Yeah, I don't know him as well. I think there's another Jeremy too. I can't remember if it's Nerdrotic or I can't remember which one, but there's another Jeremy as well.
Yeah, I think the guy from Nerdrotic, I think his name is Jeremy too, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I follow a few of them. I just don't follow them all the time. Like I said, it's one of those things where I used to follow just enough MGTOW guys or fellows who were close enough to MGTOW to kind of see what was going on from their end. And I know you're MGTOW too. So, you know, I can talk to you about this stuff too. It's just seeking advice from the other side.
Yeah.
Because I could see problems from the females, but like seeing criticism is something that a lot of women don't get enough of. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put myself through it. I'm gonna see what criticism's out there. And then I realized, well, okay, I'm a weirdo. I just am. Like, by my own nature, I am a weirdo. So I'm not saying that to put myself in the special box. I'm saying that just because I am. I
just can't handle his name. It just bothers me when
Jeremy?
he says, "Hi, I'm Jeremy from the Quartering."
From the Quartering.
Yeah, it's like, where the fuck is the Quartering at? Where is that place? Show me that place. And why are you the only one there? And if you're the only one there, why do you have to tell me you're from there?
I think it's
he's not the only one. He's not the only one there though. He's got like staff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you never hear from them. He keeps on saying, "I'm Jeremy from the Quartering." Is there someone else there that?
He's the face of the business, but he's got like other people working for him. They're also from the Quartering.
Yeah, but you never hear from them. So, I mean, if he had one of his producers get on and say, "Hey, I'm Ken from the Quartering," I'd be like, "Oh, okay, now I get it," you know. But he's the only person that ever talks. So why do we have to know he's from the Quartering? What happens if he didn't say it? Would it make any difference at all?
I could tell you, he's kind of explained why he still has it. It has to do with the initial reason he had his channel in the first place before he became a big YouTuber.
This D&D stuff?
It wasn't D&D.
Oh.
He used to go to
Magic?
no, he used to go to gaming stations to play those machines where they have the claw machines.
Oh yeah, that's where he started.
So he's from the quartering because he was using quarters to play his games.
Is that where it comes from?
And he used to do it with his wife, so he keeps it because of that. But then he just kind of went from there to the Wizarding of the Coast stuff because it was easier to make his videos from at home. And people were making rumors about him being weird because he was going to these gaming stations. And he was like, no, I'm just doing something fun with my wife. We're like passionate about these machines. People do it in Japan, for Christ's sakes. But, it's him. So naturally. Yeah. But, that's the reason he keeps the quartering. But
okay. All right. No, you explain it to me. I think I can live with it now.
Yeah,
because he was the only person besides his wife who actually was from that period of time. All the people he has on his staff now are not from that time period. So she's the only person who actually come on and say whatever her name is from the quartering. I get it. All right. No. So now that I understand, it's in my head. I can make sense of it.
I also don't watch all of his stuff, so I don't know if he's ever had any of his staff on outside of one of his secretaries, I believe.
Oh, really?
I'm not sure if she's also an editor. But she was on, so she answers a lot of his emails. Like she's one of the people who will answer some of his Twitter too. Like she'll refer to him to certain messages and things like that. And she was on for a little bit of a visit, but she came on to help him with his hair because during the lockdowns it was impossible to get someone to help you with a haircut. And she had previous experience with haircuts, so he was like, well, you know what? You guys get to meet one of my staff members. He does address his editors or the guys who do his videos and things like that. He just doesn't do it all the time. It would be nice to see him bring him on, though. Just to introduce his staff, just to be like, hey, these are the guys who make my my shit run.
Yeah. Hey, I have to ask the chat a question.
Sure.
Is anybody noticing anything weird happening with the stream? Does it seem stable and normal?
It looks fine on my end.
It looks fine on my end too. Janice, look okay to you?
Yeah.
Ask the people in chat who maybe see if
there's a little bit of a bloop bloop on the network meter.
That's what I'm watching. It's called rebounding. It happens from time to time. I've seen it on other streams, and usually they have problems. You start getting the swirl of death and all that kind of stuff, and you have to keep refreshing your screen. I was just wondering if anybody out there in the real world is seeing anything unusual, because
that would be really horrifying if the only time we really get the extra views is when I'm talking about titties. Because that's how we get in trouble on YouTube. Like I was talking about that as point of topic, but I'm not bringing it up all the time to be a pervert.
Believe me, I don't think me and Terry are going to complain about that.
I mean, I don't mind talking about stuff because I'm open and fair about stuff. And if somebody comes in and gets some advice from me, like I'd be sorry for you a little bit. I have a lack of experience, so I'm just letting you know I might be an adult. I've made my choices, and a lot of them are actually really, really responsible for dumb reasons.
All right. Well, apparently,
my stance is if you're taking advice from me, you deserve all the consequences that come from that.
Apparently, according to chat, we're okay. So at least everybody can see that even with a scrunchy rebounding stream, that it still ends up coming through okay. So I don't know what that's all about. According to OBS itself, I have green lights. So even though it's rebounding, it's not. The OBS is not complaining about it. So anyway, well, let us carry on. I think we've beaten Taylor Lorenz, whatever her name is. I see her. I see her name, and all I can think of is gravitational lensing. I'm watching too much science fiction. What else do you guys want to talk about? You guys have the list, right?
Yeah, we do. So, like, the next one would have been Will Smith. We don't need to go long on it. because we've talked about that one before too.
Yeah.
But
Well, the latest news is divorce.
And I don't know if that's true or not, because it does come from a magazine, it looks like, or like it looks like I don't know OK News very well. And that's the first one that I've seen everywhere. But you know, I could see that being a thing. I could see people working on convincing him that maybe he has to just realize that the woman he married didn't want to marry him in the first place.
Right.
She's putting that out everywhere. She's putting that out everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's not just embarrassing him. It's also, at what point do you come to the realization that, yes, the woman that you married doesn't want to be with you? And I'm sorry, Will. I know that's what your dream is. And she's technically the mother of your children. So that's going to be the hardest pill to swallow. But at what point does she have to tell you and spell it out to you that she's going to ruin you because she doesn't love you?
Yeah, she's going to take him for everything she can on top of that. She has to, because she has really nothing else.
And I feel for him, but I think if he got away, it would be the best thing he could do, because the other thing she's really kind of doing is she's really not good for his kids in the first place. Like, there's the factor where like my guy friends were pointing out, yeah, she slept with her son's best friend, as if that's not fucked up for him. And then you watch them at the red table, and she's absolutely influencing her daughter like this. So she thinks that this is normal. And I'm sorry, her daughter is doing absolutely everything she can to win her mother's love. Like, she's doing everything she can to mimic her mother, but she takes after her daughter, or after her father, in terms of her personality. Like, she does. Like, her like the way she gestures, the way she talks, the way there's the emotion in her voice, she sounds like she's expressing will, but she's doing it to love up to her mother. And I'm sorry, Will, I hate to break it to you, but when you're in a relationship with a narcissist, your narcissist parent doesn't really view your kids as love objects. They're still objects in her life. And there's some affection there because she has to. Like, she knows in her head that she's supposed to love her kids because that's what society expects of her. And so she's expected to do that. But she's viewing them as objects, and she's using them against you too. So I'm saying this as somebody who's been watching that, and I'm just like, wow, Will, if you really want to help yourself and your wife, actually, get out of that relationship, because your kids are going to be messed up.
Sounds like he's gonna.
Yeah, I think he should.
I just like that me and Camel made almost the exact same comment.
I saw that.
Why is divorce so expensive? Because it's worth it.
I just think that she doesn't like him. She didn't like him enough to get married. She was convinced to doing it. She doesn't like him. And because she's not happy and satisfied, she's doing these things against him to make herself feel better. It's spite. You know, I had to marry you. Well, I'm going to make you miserable for it. I think that's what it comes down to. He certainly is. But I mean, she's not any happier because of it. She thinks that she's going to be, but she's not.
No, well, misery loves company, and she took Will and made him miserable.
It's clear that she's abusing him. There's no two ways about it. You watch that whole video where he's saying, I don't want to be on camera, and she won't let him go. Well, apparently you still have a lot of things to work on. Like, he did something wrong, when it's actually she is doing something wrong. He even says, you know, my how I appear is, you know, that's a large part of who I am. You know, it's important to me. You know, and she wouldn't let it go. She's continued to embarrass him. There's a lot here to be said about MGTOW when it comes to this kind of behavior. It's like, why would you put yourself in the position to have this happen to you? I know I wouldn't. So, you know,
I'm just gonna answer Assassin, just because writing this out takes too long. But he wants to ask if I've seen them in action. So I haven't seen Jaden in action, but I have seen Willow in action. And what I saw was her at the red table absolutely gaslight the shit out of a black dude who was talking about women who get to know you and get to know about the things about you that make you tick, and then use it to abuse you. Like, not use it to encourage you to get better, but use it to abuse you.
I've been preaching a video on this.
And that's exactly what I mean. That's what I mean about her copying her mom. Because her gestures when she's in the act of doing it are exactly Will Smith's. She's pretending to be her mom. Because if she doesn't pretend to be her mom, she doesn't think she's going to get love. And that's what I mean about abuse by a narcissistic parent.
She has no one else to pull a personality from.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's going to be.
And
like
her dad isn't showing a strong figure, because if he stood up and walked away, she would be like, "Oh shit, I just lost probably the only other parent in my life who actually kind of loves me." Because there's a difference between the two parents. And I'm sorry, I'm being a little bit of a bitch here, and I am. Because I looked at her mom and I looked at her and I was like, her mom hasn't aged nearly as badly as she has. And I mean that. And I'm not saying that like her mom is perfect, because she's part of the reason why her daughter's like that. She is. I don't know if she's the narcissistic parent or she's just, because narcissism comes in different forms. It does. I don't know them all. I watch a guy who explains them, and he's been talking about this a lot too. So yeah, he is influencing his kids. She is kind of. So narcissism is a trait that you are either you're usually born with it. It's a genetic trait. You don't necessarily just have it on birth. It's usually something that's triggered.
What happened to your microphone?
I don't know. Am I not close enough to it?
I moved away. Got real mumbly for a second time. I couldn't make out what you were saying. Go ahead.
You know what, maybe it's YouTube. They don't like him either. They don't like that guy.
You sound good now.
Okay, good. But yeah, he talks a lot about different forms of narcissism. But like the things that I noticed, like Will is around the same age as Jada. I'm not sure if she's older or around the same age, but he hasn't aged nearly as much. And he's been in a relationship where there's torture. Like that looks like torture to me.
Yeah.
It might not be hitting him, but
emotional
torture is absolutely painful. Like when you're in that kind of a dark place. Yeah, I have images of Robin Williams in my mind. I do. That's why I'm talking like this, because I don't know. I can't do anything. I'm a little person and I don't know him at all. I'm a Sam. And half the time I don't give a shit, because what am I going to do? I couldn't do anything anyway.
I think just about every man has run into a woman like her.
Yeah. But she is, I swear there's something about that kind of personality that just ages you in such a way where it's noticeable in a way. And I don't know if it's just that level of hate that you have for other people, or that level of, I just want to get back at you. I'm so vindictive against you because I feel like you've slighted me for some reason. And it just shows on your face. Like her mom doesn't look nearly as old as she does, or nearly as vindictive as she does. And I don't doubt she has her own problems too. Because, I know the apple doesn't fall that far from the tree. But then I look at her and I look at Will, and then I look at what she looked like in the past. And I'm like, I'm sorry, lady, there's a lot of evil in you, and it's showing on your face.
Yeah.
It shows up on a lot of Hollywood stars. I'm just saying. You've
run into this kind of person before, haven't you, Terry?
Sorry, the noise outside the window. I was muted. What was happening?
Have you ever run into a narcissist?
Oh, all the time. I live on the internet. It's impossible to avoid.
Yeah, or we're just talking that it seems like
my little rant.
Yeah, she seems like she's a narcissistic personality, and she's taking all of her frustrations out on him, and he's just kowtowing underneath it. And there was a point in my life where I would have done the same thing, but I got past that, and I'm sure you have too, haven't you, Terry?
Yeah,
You won't tolerate that.
I mean, I don't know child psychology. I don't know that anything he could do could really resolve how that's really going to affect his kids. But yeah, if it was me in his position, I would leave. I would just be like, you know what, cut my losses. If she takes all my money, well, you know what? Just me leaving is going to get me support. It's Will Smith. He's going to get support if he leaves. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even be surprised if Chris Rock wouldn't even step in. Even with his like lawsuit, I would see him doing it if he did.
I don't know what's going to happen with him smacking Chris Rock if he's ever going to ever get the respect back that he had before that. But I think he's going to get a certain amount of sympathy after seeing what she's doing to him. So maybe that'll help. I don't know if he'll ever. I mean, there are people who are still insist that his award should go back.
I don't agree with that. Not really, actually. Not when I know that nobody else has ever really had an award taken. You know, like at this point, it's unless you're going to take it from everybody, then don't bother. You've already kind of punished him.
I think there is a difference. Like someone like Roman Polanski, he did all his misdeeds unaffiliated with the actual Academy, whereas Will Smith was there at the actual Oscars when he. So, like, there is a difference. There is a difference between bringing the Oscars itself into disrepute by going up and slapping Chris Rock and being a creepy pedo and molesting children, which, I mean, is disgusting, but it wasn't a reflection of the Academy because he wasn't acting as part of the Academy.
It's the Patreon rule, right? Patreon says if you act outside of our platform, we'll ban you.
Well, I disagree with that. I think if you are there, like using Patreon, I think if you're putting stuff on Patreon, they have every right to kick you off.
Right.
If you're doing stuff in your personal life that Patreon disapproves of, they can suck a dick. It's none of their business.
But they don't. Their rule is if we catch you doing anything. Yeah, go ahead.
That's why I don't support Patreon anymore.
Yeah. But I mean, it depends on how you look at it. If you're like Patreon, does the Academy take the position of Patreon where they say, we don't approve of what you're doing away from the Academy, therefore we're going to do this, as opposed to, we saw you do this live, we're punishing you. You know, that's the proper way.
I don't think they have the Patreon rule because they
don't.
Roman
You're right.
Polanski.
Right. Exactly.
I'm gonna take this in a weird direction. And post a theory that I've got. And I don't know if it's because I'm a little bit influenced by the Johnny Depp court case. So, I mean, you know, we can blend this into another topic if we want to. But I wouldn't at all be surprised if behind everything, if there wasn't a plan in place for Will to actually get a divorce and just point out that, yeah, actually men can be abused. Because if Johnny, even if he doesn't win his court case, the fact that he's now been able to prove that Amber Heard is an abuser changes the field a little bit. Because if he's being abused and he's tried to do everything he can in his own way to try to resolve his problems with his wife, I mean, it's not like he's going to get an out with the court system, but if he can change the storyline a little bit, it would make a big stink in Hollywood to begin with. Like the one thing I know he couldn't do, but would be funny as fuck, is if, you know, he does end up having to give back this award because, yeah, you know, maybe Terry's white, right? You know, like the rules are a little bit different if he's there, but he can still accept awards. He can't go there, but he can still accept awards. So say the next time he does a movie, say he does well enough in that movie where an award is you know, he's up for an award.
But then
and
I have
Chris Rock to accept it for him.
But then I have even less problem with it. If all that's happened is he's banned from attending, that's fine. I mean, he displayed behavior that should get him excluded. If he's still able to win awards, he just can't attend. I've got no problem at all with that. I think that's completely fair. That if you're going to, you know, break all the rules of the event, then they stop letting you attend. That makes sense to me. I don't have a problem with that.
Well, he's banned from qualifying for any award for 10 years, right?
Okay, that's a different thing.
But I thought that was a bit of a slap on the wrist, personally. I don't know if he can still attend the event. I think you have to be invited to attend, right?
Yes.
So
I believe he's been banned from attending too. So
What's that, Terry?
Chris Rock made that joke about Jada as well. He's saying Jada boycotting the Oscars is like him boycotting Rihanna's panties. It's like, bitch, you weren't invited.
Right?
That was a pretty funny joke.
Yeah.
Well, that's part of the reason why she hates him is because of that. It's not so much about the hair. Like, honestly, the bald spot on
never
her
about
hair.
the hair.
No. It's about the fact that Chris Rock challenges her, and she resents that.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have much of a sense of humor, that's for sure.
No, she doesn't.
No.
But that's typical in the left circle. That's why most of the comedians are left but not progressive.
And just weird.
Yeah.
Like, I would never watch Hannah What's-Her-Face ever. Like, I don't think anything about... Yeah, I don't think anything about... You know, I get the need to express yourself when you're dealing with trauma, but, like, that's not comedy.
That's therapy.
Yeah.
There's a reason why Netflix is nosediving. That was another thing I was going to bring up tonight was what's going on with Netflix. It was not on the list, but we can talk about it if you're really into it.
You don't have to. Yeah. You want
I wanted to talk about Australia because that's kind of the theme to the show. And
Master snot rags anyway. I'm jelly.
This is important. This is important information. I think Victoria is the last state, right, to finally give up the ban on air travel.
Yes, that's right.
So
I don't know all the details, but from what I've read of Sydney Watson's tweet, she's finally allowed back into the country.
Yes.
Because Melbourne was like refusing to let overseas arrivals in because of the COVID restrictions, and they finally dropped those restrictions.
Sydney's my celebrity pass. She's not really a celebrity, but
she kind of is. She's a celebrity in our circles.
Yeah, I mean, she's been at free men's rights rallies and that kind of stuff. It's not like she's never done anything, but she makes good videos. But I think she's cute. So anyway, I'm digressing. But yeah, I mean, this is really big news. I'm glad to see that it finally happened. I know Canada's still struggling. We've given up the whole deal with, nobody has to wear.
So I'm not sure if it was the Rebel News or if it was one of your reporters grilling our guy, but yeah, they were grilling Trudeau about the mandates, especially the travel ones, because we're still expected to wear the mask. I don't. At least not in the morning, just because there's nobody around. And I'm like, you know what? All of you have snot tracks on your sleeves. Go fuck yourselves.
You're really big on that phrase.
Well, it's the truth. I still... Okay, so listen. I'm going to tell you something really depressing, but over the last 3-4 days, I've had snow every day. Which means
you're in Canada. What do you expect?
Right, so I'm still in snot factory.
It's and like even Terry complaining about the heat. Well, you're living in Australia, my man.
You could. I would sympathize with you. I would sympathize with you because once I stop complaining about the cold, I am going to be complaining about the heat. But the thing is, yeah, it is snot factory up here. Like the minute I leave my house, I'm automatically fighting off the part where the cold kind of affects the part of your nose that's the same sensitivity as allergies kind of dig at. You're leaking all the time. I keep Kleenex in my pocket at all times, and I keep hand sanitizer. And I see people with their masks like squishing their nose. I'm like, that's so gross.
I just breathe through my nose breathe through my mouth when it gets too cold outside.
Yeah. But how cold is too cold for you?
Not the same numbers as you.
No.
But our negative numbers are pretty close. When it gets to 0 and 30, it starts getting down to 0. We start getting closer and closer together. I think it was at like -10. We both have -10 is exactly the same temperature or something like that. It's been -20 here in the mountains because I'm 10 degrees colder than everybody else in the equator because I'm at height. I'm at elevation. So it's always 10 degrees colder for me than somebody in the city because I'm way up on the top of the mountain. So, I mean, we had snow yesterday. We had 7 inches. It's gone today because it's been 45 to 50 degrees most of the day. Still 42 now at 10 o'clock at night. So all the snow is pretty much melted. It was big fluffy snow, the good stuff. But yeah, I mean, I have a house in Virginia. In the middle of the summer, it gets to 105, 110. It's nothing like Australia, and Pennsylvania is nothing like parts of Canada. But it's not like I don't have change of seasons. I certainly do have that. But yeah, I'm just glad that the mandates are all going away. People are not having to wear masks anymore. That's the good thing. So
up here it goes in flows. Like you'll have days where you go on the train and you're like, yes, everyone's taking their masks off, and then the next day you go on and you feel like you're the only person there. And you're like, oh dear God, you guys are just killing me here. And honestly, not everybody has the snot problem. Like I know I make that like that a big thing just because. Yeah, I am paranoid of that. That's gross.
yeah.
But you know, I am tired of it being a conforming thing, because I know a lot of the people who are wearing it just don't need to, and they are hyping it up here because it's cold season. Like it legit is cold season, so naturally COVID is a little bit more hyped up because it's cold season. And so the little kids are getting it. And I'm like, that's kind of what you want. You want your little kids to get it now while they're little, because most of them are sick for a day.
Yeah. Well, supposedly Biden's going to fight this judge. They originally said we're looking into it, but there's been some rumblings, mumblings going out there that says he's going to find a way to do it anyway, or to rewrite it or get around it or fight it in some way. I don't know if that's going to happen, but you've seen all the videos.
Assuming he doesn't pass away in between then, because he was talking to himself the other day.
Yeah.
And fighting the Easter Bunny too.
What was the question that the reporter asked him? She says, "What did you talk about to about the Ukrainians today?" And he turned to her and said, "New Hampshire."
I saw that.
She's like, "What? What?" His answer to "What did you talk about as far as Ukraine today?" His answer was New Hampshire. Like the question wasn't name a random state, sir. You know, it's New Hampshire. And she hear her kind of like she hesitates and she's, I understand. No, you don't. You have no clue what he's talking about, because he has no clue what he's talking about. I understand that you guys have problems with your leaders. I understand that, COVID camps in Australia. I understand Trudeau, but at least your guys, while possibly evil, are at least cognizant.
Yes.
Our guy has no fucking clue. He's a pudding head.
No, I don't think he's going to last very long.
That was funny.
I'm afraid of him not lasting very long. I want him to stay where he is, because if he leaves, you know who the first black president is? First black female president? Kamala Harris.
Yay.
Don't want her to be the first black female president.
I know, right?
So
I know. I'm just saying that I've been predicting things a lot lately, so I would rather you brace for reality than to lie to you, because the more he does stuff like that, the more I wonder.
Yeah.
I'm going to be real with you. Kamala Harris is a certainty. There is no escaping the fact that Biden will at some point have to stand down. And
he won't make the 4 years.
Nope. No.
Oh, don't say that.
I'm sorry. If it makes you feel better, I still have Oh no, you know what? This is going to make you feel miserable, because we still have Trudeau for the next 2.5 to 3 years too, unless he pulls a dick move and tries to pull another election, which is going to cost us a lot of money, which I could see him doing anyway. Yeah, that means we're going to have 2 retards for longer.
Is it true that a camel toe in Canada is called a moose knuckle?
Yeah.
I think camel toe is pretty funny, but moose knuckle, that's truly special. Well, I mean, Kiever Dan brought it up in chat. It's not my fault. I sound like King Solo. It's not my fault.
You're fine.
Anyway.
I gotta do a thing where I step away for a second.
Okay, well, we'll talk about Coach Deadpill then while you're gone, because we discussed this before the stream a little bit. The team usually meets about half an hour before the show just to go over the show notes and stuff like that. And we kind of talked about Coach Deadpill because we've known him for a while. He was back with the Worski days. He used to be on the Kill Stream. That wasn't the Kill Stream. What was it called? The Kumite. He was on the Kumite, and he was less than admirable back then. And then he went after everyone else's buddy Polly, and Polly, pushed his face into a pillow, and he didn't like that, and he left in a huff. And every time I've run into him, I understand there's a good chance that he's somebody deaded him. So I know that that's a possibility, or a strong possibility. I don't know how confirmed it is, but apparently that's what's happened. And I hate to talk bad about somebody once they're gone. They obviously can't defend themselves. Not like they'd be listening to the stream anyway. But I'm not brokenhearted. To be honest with you, I'm not. He's not the worst guy in the world, but I don't.
I mean, I generally don't get sad when people I don't know die. So I mean, it's like, okay, I mean, I feel bad for the people who did know him and will miss him, but him being dead doesn't change my life.
Yeah, I mean, there are people that have passed on that make no difference to me either, and I try to be respectful, reverent to that. They lived a full life, and I'm sure they contributed in some way to the moral fiber of the time that they were on the planet and all that kind of stuff. So I try to give people the benefit of the doubt, but there are some people that are just like, I mean, if there are people, if they deaded themselves tomorrow, I'd be like, meh.
No, but like if someone came to me saying, my dear friend Gonzalo, he died, I wouldn't reply with, oh, I didn't know him, I don't care that he's dead. That would be disgusting.
Rude. Yeah.
But if we're just talking about a guy and no one here is particularly attached to the guy, then no, his passing doesn't affect me.
Yeah. I mean, there's something for ambivalence where, well, okay, if it bothers you, I'm sorry you feel that way. I hope you feel better.
Yeah.
That's just empathy with the person you're dealing with. But then there's people that you don't know. You really don't know these people, and they get deaded, and you're like, man, that sucks. Norm Macdonald.
Yeah.
As a Godfrey. What the hell is
Gilbert Gottfried?
Gilbert Gottfried, the duck. I don't know these guys. I've never met them. I've never seen them in concert. I've seen them on TV a couple times. I don't know who they really are. I never spoke with them. Of course, they're celebrities. They don't have time for me. But they're gone, and I'm like, I like their work. They seem like nice people. I'm going to miss them. They're not going to be able to produce any more work or entertain me anymore. Maybe that's a little selfish.
I was sad when Terry Pratchett died. I'll be sad when John Cleese dies. I mean, I get it. These people, like, they're part of your life, even if you don't.
Yeah, they had an impact on you, though you haven't had an impact on them.
Yeah, exactly.
Jack's in chat. Say hi to Jack.
I already did.
No. No one else has to say hi, but we'll say hi. Hey, Jack.
But yeah, no, I get being sad when like a celebrity dies, if that celebrity was like
entertaining,
to you.
Yeah, or something had some kind of impact on you. Yeah.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
I had coffee, and then I had a half a coffee, and then I was like, "Ooh, I still have a little coffee left." That's
we were talking about CRP and the fact that.
I know you said that. Yeah,
he was potentially. I still don't know if it's been confirmed. You guys, if anybody in chat knows for sure, you guys know that he is truly gone. But
the picture that V posted at the bottom, it's got our information has been confirmed. The journalist was killed by Nemechev's volunteer battalion, Intel Slava Z, today at 21:32. But I don't know how valid that is. That's just
right. Could be propaganda. We don't know. But if he is dead, who killed him? The Ukrainians killed him. The people that were all saying free speech, help Ukrainians. They killed an American citizen.
The Azov battalion is the one that's being named.
Yeah, killed an American citizen for reporting what they saw.
Uh-huh.
It's not his
Yeah,
fault that the Kremlin used it. He didn't intend that.
No.
So it's not his fault, yet he's being treated as a Russian spy and executed.
I mean, there is some validity to what people were saying in chat, where he should have moved out of a literal war zone. And I mean,
That's a good point.
sure, but given that he lived there, I mean, I can see why he stayed. I mean, if that's where he lives.
Oh, look at what Kiradam said in chat.
I still think he should have tried to leave and go to Poland instead, though, because the guy acts as though he's never had any ties to Russians in general. Like, that's not to say that he would with the government, because that's dumb. He's a nobody on the internet. But the thing is the guy absolutely had a following of Russians. Like, Russians follow a lot of threads. They watch a lot of people. Like, a lot of them speak English.
Everybody's fascinated with us Americans.
Well, they're fascinated with everybody. Like, there was a point on the internet not that long ago, it was almost like December or something, when people were absolutely talking to Russians like they were best friends with them or something. And all of a sudden there's a war going on that we're not really directly involved with. And oh my God, they're not my friends anymore. Russians have been everywhere for a long time because the people who aren't really directly involved with this are regular people.
You don't have to. You don't have to put the link in chat unless you want to, Kiradam. I believe you. Kiradam says that his Wikipedia page says he's still alive.
But that connection, I hope he is. Even if I don't like the guy, I hope he is.
But I don't trust Wikipedia for like
right.
current events.
Yeah.
No, but like if it was like historical fact, then sure. But I mean, it could just be that no one's updated the Wikipedia page since it happened. I mean, Wikipedia is not your go-to source for things that are happening right now. I wouldn't say.
Yeah, but is anything? Is Twitter?
No, but Twitter is at least updated every second, whereas Wikipedia
updated every second. That's absolutely true. If you want to know what something's going on, the first place I hear about anything is on Twitter.
Exactly.
So there's that. I don't know how reliable it is, but it's definitely there first. So,
well, you've got the opposite problem with Twitter, where it's updated so much that it's hard to keep track of what's real and what's not. Whereas Wikipedia is updated when someone decides to update it.
Right. What were you going to say, Jen?
Well, I was going to stand by what I said, that okay, so say he ends up still being alive regardless, I'm going to assume he's probably dead, but yeah, he might not have had direct ties with the Russians, but he absolutely had friends who were Russians, and he absolutely had people who followed him who were Russians. The fact that he stayed as long as he has, or the fact that he's still there, is absolutely him putting himself at risk, because these people are in a war zone. They don't care if you're actually friendly or not. If you have ties to someone that they're going to question, they're going to shoot you. Like, I don't say that to be, like hyped up or something, but like, that's kind of war zones. Sorry. You could be like, I'm American. They're like, you're still technically sharing information, whether you want to or not.
Well,
because he is.
Yeah. I really don't know if anything's going to happen about this. I don't really think anybody cares. I mean, between the fact that he has a long list of detractors and he's only one guy, I don't think anybody in our government really is going to count it as something that's important. That's a shame to say.
Oh, really? I mean, he's only famous because we're in that sphere of the internet. To the world at large, no one knows who or cares who he is.
Right.
At best, I would say there's probably the odd person who probably followed the guy. I don't mean to say that to be a theory person, but I do believe that. Like, if you have enough of a trail on the internet and you're in enough shady places, there's going to be somebody who's following you. Even if it's just like a nobody on YouTube or like 4chan who's just there to downvote all your shit, there's always somebody who's still following you. Whether or not it's a government person who's interested, I don't doubt that there's people who check in on him just to see what the fuck he's talking about. But you're not wrong. They're not going to miss him. They're not going to talk about him because he was still a nobody. But the Russians and the Ukrainians aren't going to care about that because they're gonna see the fact that he probably has both. He probably has both Ukrainian and Russians who follow him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Anyone with a large enough following on the internet has people from all sorts of countries in their following. It's just how it works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's people on my who are following me on Twitter. I have no clue.
Maybe at best, if he's still alive, maybe they kick him out. I could see them doing that too.
Does he have residency there? Does he got dual citizenship or something? Or
I don't know how that works.
I don't know about citizenship, but the thing I read said that he lived in Kharkov, so in Ukraine.
Well, to live there, I guess you have to have permission to be in the country. So
he could be on a residence visa. He doesn't necessarily.
Yeah, it could be on a visa. Yeah, it could be on a visa. It's kind of dangerous to be on a visa in a country that's in the middle of a war. I think there's enough red flags there. Maybe I should go back to America.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wizards in chat. Hey, cannibalistic wizard. I thought CRP was in Ukraine because he lived there. He does.
Yeah.
We're just trying to figure out if he lived there because he was a citizen or he lived there because he was on a visa.
Yeah. It's because we're not sure if he's still alive or not, too, right? Like, I mean, even if we think he is, there's still that chance that we just haven't heard from him yet.
It'd be pretty easy to keep me from updating my life. Just take my phone away and no one will know if I was alive or dead.
I've made the same point. When I die, no one on the internet is ever going to know. Like, they're just going to be like, where'd Terry go? Because, like, how would you find out?
Well, I guess if you don't answer to the call for the Wednesday show, I'm just going to assume.
I mean, you can assume, but I mean, you won't be told.
If Terry could be here, he'll be to the Wednesday show. He's that dedicated. Only way he's going to miss the Wednesday show is if he's dead.
I mean, that's what I'm aiming for.
It's true.
I don't like to miss appointments. If I've committed to something,
it would be
uphold it.
It would be extremely unusual for me to go a full day without posting a tweet.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
Even if I'm just winding someone up or trolling or something, I post multiple times.
But you have a different. You're a Discord person. I'm not a Discord person.
It's not just that I'm a Discord person. It's just I only go onto Twitter to share other people's stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, lately I might go on there occasionally because Blind Girl hasn't been able to help with the streams as much lately because stuff has been going on. And so I'm like, okay, well, last minute I have to do stuff. Well, I've been taking a little bit of a page out of Monkey's book and I just go into Twitter and I find something to piss myself off with. And then I just rant about that for an hour.
I almost lost my shit when I saw you reply to our group chat on Twitter. I was like, I can read what you said, right?
Yeah.
You just said, going to be one moment, right? I was like, Chen on Twitter? What the fuck's going on?
Well, I get that I probably should use it more. Honestly, I've been, like I said, I don't want to use my face necessarily to sell myself, but I do acknowledge that it's probably easier to converse with people sometimes when I do it. But the thing is
use your face on Twitter.
I don't have any intentions of doing that.
You can use your cute little puppy icon. It's awesome.
Well, that part I'll do. But my actual face on Twitter, no. On YouTube, actually, I don't mind because surprisingly enough, YouTube not as out there as Twitter anymore. Not to me, anyway.
I don't need that.
I used to think the opposite. Well, no, it's not that. It's like as big and vast as YouTube is, I find there's, and as many weirdos as there are on YouTube, I find there's more on Twitter. There's just more on Twitter.
Yep, because Twitter's more interactive. So that's where all the creeps are going to be. So.
So I just have no interest in that. Like, I don't mind people seeing my face because I wouldn't mind making friends with people, but I don't want weirdos following me. And I don't want people falling in love with me for something that's stupid and shallow like my face. Like, there's a lot of reasons to dislike me. I'm just saying I'm a bit of a bitch sometimes. My brother has a list. He can tell you.
Brothers
like,
and
I'm
sisters.
not perfect.
Yep.
You know, I'm just proud of the fact that I lost a little bit of weight, and I don't mind showing that off. And I'm planning to do more this summer, but I'm not doing any of that either because I would never. I actually had thought about it, making a joke with Satsu because he was at home and a stay-at-home dad while he's still working on his cooking stuff. But he was talking about how he's struggling with keeping his weight down because he wants to stay healthy for his baby girl.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? Maybe along with your cooking show, we should start a Get Satsu in Shape show.
It's going to be tough because he's a chef now, man. His job is to eat food,
Yeah, so I was like, maybe I'll pitch that at him one of these days, But then I was like, well, if I do that, I'll probably end up with a camera or something. I don't have to. I could just make him do it.
Are you reading chat?
No.
Sora's making
Hi,
googly
Sora.
eyes.
Let's run away together, right?
Don't fall for it. She just wants to make a movie out of it.
I would go to BC, but there's a problem with that. I'm from Alberta. BC has a kind of sort of hatred for me right now.
Don't tell
I mean,
them.
not everyone, not everyone. Oh, it's noticeable. I'm very Albertan.
Okay, I guess that's a thing.
Yeah, it is. It is. Trust me.
I'm from Pennsylvania. I can go to any state and no one would know I'm from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Because I immediately assimilate to wherever I'm going. And it's not really even by choice. It just happens. But everywhere I've gone, I've been accepted immediately.
I admittedly have mostly lived my entire life in my province. So I don't know if that reflects anything. But I just know that when I talk to other people from different provinces, they notice right away that I'm kind of where I'm from. Like, it's not like I'm a overly conservative person. It's just I don't know.
Yeah, I've
I
been
still
all
visit
around
Sora, though.
I've been all around the United States, and no one's ever said to me, at least in the last 10 or 20 years. When I was younger, it was a different story, but now that I'm older and I've been trained how to deal with people from a corporate perspective, it's pretty easy to assimilate to wherever you're going because I kind of know what to expect before I get there. I know there's a certain way that you act in this certain state. That they kind of act like this or they kind of act like that. So it's pretty easy to fit into, and the differences between our states is, I think, more dramatic than yours. I think it's more subtle in Canada. You guys have more of a cohesiveness to yourselves that we just don't have. It's not like it is the United States. Don't get me wrong, but the differences between California and Florida and Texas and Maine and Illinois and and then the cities, Chicago, LA, Philly, New York, is just they're such known entities. It's easy to walk in and say, "Oh, I'm going to New York." Well, that's where you're going to go. Then go to New York. You go to New York. That's what you are when you're there. You can just immediately assume a certain sound or presence to yourself, and people will assume you're from New York.
I used to think the same way. Like I really did. Up until I really spent more time with more people from Ontario. It was kind of a little bit of a cultural shock. Because the last time I really spent time in Ontario, I was 15. And I was there for like 2 weeks, and it was my first time without my mom being there. And I spent the entire time with my grandmother, and it was fine. But I didn't interact with anybody. It was just me and her and like my cousins for a little bit. So when I started talking to other people from Ontario in my adulthood, I didn't realize how much more like you guys they really are. At least the southern end. Like, I would say the northern end, I don't know as well because I don't know as many people from there, or I haven't spoken to them personally. Like, if you're in chat and you're from the northern end of Ontario, I just haven't spoken to you. So I don't notice the difference in terms of Even the way they talk is very, very different from what I like. You know, you make jokes about Hamilton having that really heavy Canadian accent, eh? Or you go to like Nova Scotia, and they have a lot more of that too.
You do that
Or
really
you
well.
go and you know, you go through you know, Quebec, and obviously you've got the variety of French between them and New Brunswick and Manitoba. They've got a bunch of it there too. But you come out here and it's a very different fluctuation. Even just how we pronounce words is different. Like there's more of an English sound to my vocabulary. Like I've had folks who are foreign say that to us here. Like you guys stick a little bit more closely to the Queen's English than necessarily going to Ontario. Like they are a little bit more influenced by you guys. And to be fair, they have been like historically speaking, they've interacted with you more than us because they're kind of our capital city, you know? So there's reasons for it, but we also just don't take our interactions with you so seriously because you're our business partners, you know? It's one of those things where like we do business with everybody. I got flack from Blind Girl for calling myself an international city, but I am from an international city. So I honestly, if I moved to Australia and hung out with like I probably wouldn't hang out with you, Terry. Like, I mean, maybe I would because, you know, I'd want to visit you, but you'd kick me out. So I'd say hi and have coffee maybe, and then you'd kick me out. But if I hung out in Australia for like maybe a week, guaranteed I'm going to sound like at least one of your cities. At least.
Yeah. I think I mentioned this before that I grew up in Philly, and when I started working for the company that I worked for, they said my accent would not do, and they trained me out of my Philly accent. And ever since then, I have what's called a floating accent. Wherever I go, I pick up that accent. It's not voluntary; it just happens. If I spent a couple of weeks in Australia, you would think I was born there. I wouldn't be able to get out of it until I got home and started talking to people here, and then I would go back to the way I was. It's very, it's something that bothers me. I can't do anything about it. It's just how it is now. But does Australia have the same kind of? Is it homogeny or is it or not between different states in Australia? Does everybody like each other, or are there states that everyone just hates?
I mean, there's sort of a joke rivalry between New South Wales and Victoria, the same way that there's one between Australia and New Zealand. But I don't like, no one takes it seriously. No one's like, you're not one of them Victorians, are you? Like, there's none of that. It's just like, there's a certain amount of trolling when, you know.
It used to be like that. You used to be more like that.
And now not so much.
Yeah, I mean, apparently Melbourne does still hate Sydney from what my mum and stepdad have said. I don't know why. But apparently being better than Sydney is a big deal in Melbourne. So I don't know. It's
not so much that big rivalry or anything like that. It's more of just I didn't realize how much of a difference the fluctuation in the gestures were. This is more of a me thing than anything else. Like I have more interactions with people not from my country than people from my own country. You know, so when I go to Ontario, I'm literally kind of in a shock because I didn't realize how they were really. They're not bad people. It's just, you know,
different
because I don't know everybody. Like I've barely even scratched the surface of anything from there. But they are very different. Like how they interact, how they greet each other, you know, their levels of politeness, and it's different per city. It's not just different for the province, it's different per city, and it's very noticeable. And that's where I was getting a lot of confusion. I'm like, this is going to get me into trouble. Because I'm very good at having a conversation with someone and having them take me out of context or not understanding me. Because I will use quotes from things all the time. I will take it from everywhere.
I should hate New York and California just because they're such blue states and they're so terrible. I should hate them, but I don't really hate those places either. New York is, I've been to New York, I've been to California,
Mhm.
and I enjoyed my time while I was there both times. I wasn't nearly as political then as I am now. I was much younger when I went to California. Well, actually, I've been there twice. Once when I was a kid, and once when I was early 30s.
Mhm.
And I had a good time both places. It was awesome. I didn't have any issues. Beautiful weather. And that was back when all the streets were nice and clean and everything. And the company I worked for, their corporate office was in New York, so I'd gone there several times, training and all that kind of stuff. Working for a Fortune 10 company. So it's not like I haven't been in New York too. And they're significantly different from each other. It's very clear that they're significantly different. But I never felt out of place or unable to connect. You know, New York is,
So,
people have their heads down. They have places to go. They don't have time for you. Here's your information. Have a nice day. See ya. Out in California, it's,
yeah,
hey bro, what you doing? Come have some
I,
ice cream. You know,
I,
it's a
I
whole,
like New York better already.
yeah. I mean,
Just
so I don't remember
get
who
to
it
the
was.
point.
If it was Giuliani, yeah. I don't know if it was Giuliani, but there was. I can't remember exactly where I heard this from, but the phrase I remember was, "Hey, you can't take away a New Yorker's right to be an asshole." Best quote, because it's very much like what they are there. If you try to sweet talk or stammer or fuck around, they don't have time for that. You know, it's just, get your
Well,
keys, get in
there's
your car, get the
cynic.
fuck out of here.
Well, an
Cynic,
example of how. Oh, go ahead, Terry. Finish your
no,
thought.
Cynic was pointing out the state of origin rivalry between New South Wales and Queensland, and apparently wearing the wrong jersey into a pub can get you beat up. And this is when I remember that I've been kept out of a lot of the roughness that like Cynic has been exposed to. So the thought of like beating someone up for supporting a different football team is just baffling to me. Whereas I suppose if you grow up in those environments, it's normal. It's just crazy to me.
Costin says in chat, at least you're not from Toronto, Jen. And I have to defend Toronto. Been there quite a few times. Had bed and breakfasts there when I visited. I was there for weeks on end, working on our office in Mississauga. I come in the Toronto airport, which the airport's awful, but everything else about the area was just wonderful. The people were great. It was cold as balls. But every time I went there, but some of the nicest places to stay that I've ever been when traveling have been in Toronto. So, you know, maybe
It's
everybody has a different opinion who actually lives there. Maybe there's some rivalry there. I don't
not.
know, but I liked it.
I think it could just also be the time of the year, the time that you went.
Yeah.
It's also where you went too. Like it's not like all of Toronto sucks. It's kind of an example of stuff that I see from Toronto is stuff that I was really kind of upset about when I was looking at Ottawa through all those lenses on the convoy, and those guys were cleaning up that city a lot
Mm.
because before they started doing that, and the videos that I was seeing really upset me because one of the things that we're kind of well known up here for is a lot of our taxes go towards making sure that our memorials are cleaned.
Mhm.
And there was just so much trash everywhere. There was graffiti everywhere. And it was over landmarks. And the reason I say landmarks is, and I don't know if Terry has the same shit because you're Australian, but the Parliament buildings that are based off of the British buildings, they were trashed up, and we send them just to Ontario alone at least $2.9 to $3.7 billion. So seeing stuff like that inflames me. Now, Toronto, on the other hand, like they pay for their own shit. We all pay for our own shit. Like we all pay for stuff like that. But the memorials, we all pay for those. So for Toronto, like I expect their nice areas to be nice because they cater you guys. They do. Most people will go to Toronto before they go to Ottawa. That's just
Mhm.
kind of how it is a little bit. But if you were to go to the suburbs, some of those places are trash, and I'm just kind of like, well, that's kind of.
Yeah, I didn't really get much traveling done when I was there. I was basically in Mississauga the entire time. So
So if I'm throwing shade at them, it's more of me throwing shade at them for keeping their own home like that. Because that's their own business, you know, like that's where your taxes are going. And it's like, well, if that's where your taxes are going and you're not bitching about that shit, I would be. Because we do that up here. Like if we get to a certain point where it's trashy, we will take out a mayor for it. Like our guy is going, and we're kind of grateful because he's kind of had one focus on his own end. And we're kind of like, no, you kind of have to focus on all ends, you know? But we're very keen on making sure our city is clean because as a major oil capital of the world, we have a lot of bigwigs who come to our city. Like we used to be really big for the main offices. So you want your city to look good so that if like China or Japan or you or
representing
say,
the country.
Yeah. So you want it to look clean so that when people are staying in your city that you want to do business with us.
Yeah. Is Toronto an international airport? Is it Toronto International? Is that the name of it? Okay.
So that's kind of why we rag on each other. But to be fair, we all have times where we're bad. Like there's times where my city's been bad and I'm like, oh, this is bad. I hope they start doing stuff. Like we've had a bad year this year. There were times in my childhood where we had bad, and that's usually a sign that there's a switchover. Like our guy is on the outs, so he doesn't give a shit. It's clear. We did have a new guy, so I'm a little bit hoping that as the summer comes in and they start dropping the COVID shit, they do some stuff, because one of the complaints I have about the COVID masks is the fact that people do dump them everywhere. It's like the new tampon that you see everywhere. It's gross. I think
dumping tampons is a bit grosser than dumping masks. Just
hey, listen, the stuff that comes out of your mouth, pretty gross. I mean, I don't know that it's as gross as the stuff that comes from there, but I don't know. I don't.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Did you know that the cells of the lining on the inside of your mouth are the same cells that are inside the lining of the female parts? Did you know that?
Do. Yes.
Did you know that, Terry? Same things. That's why your mouth can make words, and you can open and close your mouth, and it can stretch to do that. Same cells. I didn't know that till yesterday. And the airport nearest to me is also an international airport, Scranton International. I had to look it up because I didn't know if it was or not. I thought we just call it Scranton Airport, but it's actually Scranton International Airport. So, and I'll tell you, if you ever go there, it will not look good. It is terrible. For as bad as any airport you've ever been in, Scranton International is awful. It is dirty. It's crowded. It's poorly designed. It doesn't run well.
The only reason I know of Scranton is because Kyle Dunnigan. Kyle Dunnigan did a parody of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air called The Fresh Prez of DC. And the intro was something like born and raised in Scranton, PA.
Yeah. That's where they filmed The Office with, what the hell's the guy?
Yeah, but I don't watch The American Office.
Yeah, well, of course not. Nobody does except for the Americans. But he was in that movie that came after Bruce Almighty, Evan Almighty. He played Evan from Evan Almighty.
Steve Carell.
Yeah, Steve Carell. He was the big wig in that show in The Office. He worked with Ricky Gervais to make the American version. Yeah,
but I like the English version. I watched one episode of the American version and couldn't get into it.
Yeah, and threw up. I know. Unless you live here, unless you live in the States, it's not very good. It's because we only believe in what we do because we're arrogant. But yeah, I mean, it was filmed in Scranton, literally filmed in Scranton, like literally maybe 40 minutes from here, from where I'm sitting.
Oh, cool.
So it's...
No, I did like the English version of The Office, though, even though I don't live in England. But
to be honest with you, I haven't seen either one, so...
Fair enough.
Yeah. Oh, that's not to say I don't like... I forgot his name already. Boomer moment.
Ricky Gervais?
No, the other guy.
Steve Carell.
Steve Carell. It must be nice to be young. It's not that I don't like Steve Carell. In that movie, Evan Almighty, he's fucking brilliant. I love him. I think it's actually better than Bruce Almighty, to be honest with you, but whatever. We are at 10:35. How you doing, Chen?
I'm good.
You're
I
good?
was just checking to see if BG's stream was still going, and yeah, it is.
Oh no. Do you want to tell everybody what's going on?
So
No?
my friend, no, I don't mind talking about it. I might even stick you guys on her because I'm hoping she has a sound reader.
Okay.
I'm gonna jump into her chat and at least try to talk to her again. Otherwise, I can't do much else other than she'll wake up at some point. She
fell
so
asleep on stream, right?
Oh, she did. So, to be fair, she's got a little bit of a struggle going. She's going to what's it
Some
called?
medical issues?
Yeah, dialysis.
Yeah.
So she's not doing very well, and so one of the things that she's been doing to deal with her pain when she's just really really struggling with it is she'll smoke a little tiny bit of pot, and she's like the biggest lightweight, and so she had just a tiny little bit before the stream, and like 5 minutes into the stream she fell asleep, and like 25 minutes of me like going, oh god, oh god, oh god, I don't have any access to her OBS, so I don't have anything to do with her stream key. And Batman comes on to help keep the stream going because I'm not really focused on the stream anymore. And he starts talking about folk stories from Britain, which was awesome. He's great. Thank you, the Batman, for your assistance. And Blue, the box, who's awesome with OBS, by the way. You should talk to him at some point.
Oh.
He's talented.
Mm.
He is very talented. But I realized I don't know what else to do to help her other than maybe stick some of you guys on her stream. So you know what? I'm gonna post that in chat. All you gotta do is type "blind girl go to bed," and I'm just hoping that her because she does have a speak to reader because she's blind, right? So
is her headset still on? I mean, can you see her head? Is she still?
Well, she doesn't have a camera on.
Oh,
so
right.
thankfully she doesn't have that. I don't know that worked. Look at it. I'm gonna try that. See if that.
Well, I hope she's okay. We should probably get out of here, though.
Yes, we should. She's healthy. She's not gonna die from it. She's just asleep, and I know that she's not gonna do anything wrong. But there's gonna be some weirdo going, "What is this about?" Just watch. It'll be the new big thing on YouTube just because she just sleeps all night.
It is kind of funny.
It is.
It's kind of funny. Terry, you got anything you want to go with before we get out of here?
No, I think we covered everything.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get out of here.
This was a fun night, guys. Thank you all for coming and joining us.
I want to say thanks to chat for hanging out with us, talking to us. Great times as always. If you're looking for more, our Discord is linked in the description down below. And we're live every evening with most shows starting at 11:30 p.m. Eastern, 7 days a week. Quiz on Monday, Skep on Tuesday. Of course, the Wednesday show at 9 o'clock. Johnny Hellcat, who's here earlier, for Thursday. Sanguine this Friday. The Harry channel starting off the weekend on Saturday. And Mr. Adam running the Sunday show at 9 o'clock as well. So make sure you tune in and say hi to Adam this coming Sunday. We will be back, of course, next Wednesday at 9 o'clock as usual. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we'll see you again next week. See you guys.
Bye, guys.
All right, guys, you know what? They pulled her out of the Discord, so she's not there.
Uh-oh.
They've just left her stream going, so you know what? She'll wake up at some point and turn it off, but there's no one there. Don't worry about it.
Fair enough.
All right, have a great night, guys.
See you later.
Good night, everybody. Oh, good.